What if I told you there's a place on Earth capable of triggering a tsunami that could cross the entire Pacific Ocean in just a matter of hours, yet most people have never even heard of it? A place so powerful that when it moves, entire coastlines thousands of kilometers away can be affected. Hidden beneath the violent, storm-lashed waters of Russia's Far East lies a massive fault line, one that has already unleashed one of the most powerful earthquakes in recorded history, and may now be building toward another. And in 2025, something changed. A sudden surge in powerful earthquakes has scientists watching this region more closely than ever before. So the question is, are we witnessing the early warning signs of the next megaquake? Far beneath the Pacific Ocean lies one of the most dangerous and least understood geological features on Earth, the Kuril Kamchatka Trench. Stretching for more than 2,000 kilometers along the edge of Russia's Far East, this Vishal undersea boundary marks the collision of two massive tectonic plates, the Pacific Plate and the Okhotsk Plate, and this is where things get intense. The Pacific Plate is constantly moving, slowly but relentlessly, sliding beneath the Okhotsk Plate at a rate of nearly 8 to 9 centimeters every year. Now that might not sound like much, but over decades, even centuries, that movement builds enormous stress. Imagine pushing two giant slabs of rock against each other. They don't slide smoothly, they lock, they stick, and pressure builds, silently, invisibly, until one day they suddenly slip. That sudden release of energy is what we experience as an earthquake. But here's the critical part. In subduction zones like this, earthquakes don't just shake the ground. They can move the ocean floor itself. And when the seafloor shifts, it displaces massive amounts of water. That's how tsunamis are born. This is the same mechanism behind some of the most devastating disasters in modern history, like the 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami and the 2011 Japan earthquake and tsunami. The Kuril-Kamchatka Trench shares the same deadly potential. In fact, it is one of the deepest ocean trenches on Earth, plunging down to nearly 9,600 meters. Its floor is covered with sediments scraped off the descending plate, while its edges are marked by underwater volcanoes, fractured rock, and scars left behind by past earthquakes. This entire region is not just active, it's constantly evolving, and it has a violent history. On November 4th, 1952, the trench unleashed its true power. A massive magnitude 9.0 earthquake struck off the coast of Kamchatka. The shaking itself was immense, but the real destruction came moments later. A powerful tsunami formed almost instantly. Waves surged toward nearby coastlines with terrifying speed. The town of Severokurilsk was hit hardest. Within minutes, entire neighborhoods were wiped away. More than 2,300 people lost their lives, and many had little to no warning. But the impact didn't stop there. The tsunami traveled across the entire Pacific Ocean. It reached Hawaii, Chile, New Zealand. Think about that for a second. One rupture in one remote part of the ocean affected coastlines across the planet. That is the true scale of this threat. Decades later, the trench reminded the world once again that it had not gone quiet. In 2006, a magnitude 8.3 earthquake struck the region. While the resulting tsunami was less destructive, it served as a critical warning. The system was still active, still building stress, still capable of producing massive earthquakes. And now, fast forward to 2025. This is where things start to feel different, because in just a short span of time, the region has experienced a noticeable increase in powerful earthquakes. At least 7 earthquakes exceeding magnitude 7.0 have already been recorded. One of the strongest, a magnitude 7.4 event in July, triggered tsunami warnings across multiple regions, including Japan, Alaska, and Hawaii. Emergency alerts were issued. Coastal communities prepared for evacuation. For a moment, it felt like history might repeat itself. Thankfully, no major tsunami waves struck. But that's not what concerns scientists the most. It's not just the size of these earthquakes, it's the pattern. Because earthquakes don't always happen randomly. In some cases, they can actually influence each other. This is where a concept known as stress transfer comes in. When one part of a fault releases energy, it can increase pressure on nearby sections, almost like shifting weight from one point to another. And if those nearby sections are already locked, already under stress, this added pressure could push them closer to failure. In other words, one earthquake can make another more likely. We've seen this before. Before the devastating 2011 earthquake in Japan, there was a series of smaller quakes that appeared to migrate along the fault line. At the time, they didn't seem unusual, but in hindsight, they may have been warning signs. Now, scientists are observing similar behavior along the Kuril-Kamchatka Trench, and while this doesn't guarantee that a megaquake is imminent, it does raise concern, because this region is capable of producing earthquakes in the magnitude 8.5 to 9.0 range, or even higher. So what would happen if a megaquake struck today? The immediate impact would be devastating. The Kamchatka Peninsula is home to hundreds of thousands of people, many living in coastal areas. Strong ground shaking would damage buildings, roads, and infrastructure. Older structures, especially those not designed to withstand major earthquakes, could collapse. Landslides could bury entire Manatik, cutting off access for emergency responders. Power lines could fail, communication systems could go down. And then comes the most dangerous part, the tsunami. Within minutes of a major rupture, massive waves could begin racing toward the coastline. Some estimates suggest wave heights of 10 to 20 meters or more. Entire coastal towns could be flooded in a matter of minutes. And beyond Russia, the effects would spread rapidly. Alaska could see waves in about 3 hours. Hawaii in roughly 7 hours. The west coast of North America in under 12 hours. Even countries across the Pacific, like Chile, Japan, and New Zealand, could be impacted. This is not just a regional threat, it's a global one. And there's another layer of danger that often goes unnoticed. The Kamchatka region is also one of the most volcanically active areas on Earth. It is home to dozens of active volcanoes. Large earthquakes can sometimes disturb underground magma systems. This means a major quake could potentially trigger volcanic eruptions. Ash clouds, lava flows, and toxic gases could add to the chaos, turning one disaster into multiple. Now, despite all of this, scientists are not standing still. Monitoring systems in the region have improved significantly over the years. Seismic sensors track earthquakes in real time. Tsunami warning centers analyze ocean data to detect dangerous waves. Satellites measure tiny shifts in the Earth's surface, sometimes just millimeters. There are even instruments placed on the ocean floor to monitor deep-sea activity. International collaboration between Russia, Japan, and other countries has helped expand research and improve preparedness. But there's still a major limitation. Even with all this technology, we cannot predict exactly when a megaquake will occur. We can identify high-risk zones. We can monitor patterns. We can issue warnings after an earthquake begins. But predicting the exact time? That remains beyond our current capability. And in tsunami scenarios, time is everything. In some cases, people may have as little as 15 to 30 minutes to evacuate, which means awareness, preparation, and fast response can mean the difference between life and death. Right now, deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, the Kuril-Kamchatka Trench continues its silent movement. Pressure continues to build. Energy continues to accumulate. Nothing has stopped. Nothing has changed. The same forces that caused the devastating 1952 earthquake are still at work today. The system is still active, still locked, still waiting. And the question scientists continue to ask is not if another megaquake will occur, but when. Will it happen in years, decades, or sooner than we expect? No one knows for sure. But what we do know is that when it happens, the effects could be felt across the entire Pacific and beyond. If you found this video informative, make sure to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more deep insights into the powerful forces shaping our planet. Because understanding these hidden dangers today could help save lives tomorrow. And as always, stay curious, stay informed, and stay prepared.